Life After Sunday, a podcast by dudes, for dudes, where faith meets the real world. For Eric Duval and Mike Norman, I'm Chris Boren. Let's go.
We're back with another episode of Life After Sunday. Today we're going to talk about church being a hospital for sinners, Picklefest, a small town festival in Arkansas, and Arkansas's budget surplus. And we're going to take a deep dive into emergency, disaster, family planning, and preparation. What is up, my brothers?
What's
Good
up?
morning.
Good to be back with you, fellers. I missed y'all.
Yeah, you took a hiatus last week. Skipped out on us.
I did. I went up to the state of Ohio, ran around Buckeye country.
The state that decides presidential elections.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you, man, that state, there's some patriots up there, boys. I got to get out in these small communities, and it was really cool. All these houses with beautiful yards, small communities, small towns outside of Canton and Akron. American flags flying everywhere. There was a yard that had like 50 American flags on poles up in its yard, and then the service flags in between all of them. It was just really cool. Beautiful area.
Yeah, it's blue collar country, man.
Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I didn't get a big city feel at all where I was at. Canton and Akron reminded me a lot of like Fayetteville and Bentonville.
Yeah.
I think Cleveland's like an hour away.
We last year I went to Dayton to see the Air Force Museum. I didn't quite have the same experience. The museum was really cool. But I'm kind of biased toward Arkansas. If you don't have a mountain, I'm kind of not impressed by it. I mean, there was a few rolling hills, but nothing too impressive. But the Air Force Museum there is definitely, if you're ever in the area, definitely want to check that out.
Yeah. Of course, I got to go to the
4 hangars. 4.
Oh, wow.
I think there's 4 hangars completely full of aircraft, massive hangars. So it was awesome.
All the good stuff?
Yep.
All the good ones? Okay, cool. That would be neat. I got to go to the Hall of Fame.
Nice.
That was pretty cool. It was neat to be amongst all that greatness, you know?
Why was Tim Tebow's, when you mentioned greatness, why is Tim Tebow in there? Because he was not great.
Well, there's all kinds, if you'll notice, and I sent y'all a ton of pictures, there's all kinds of memorabilia in there of guys that aren't in the Hall of Fame. Like, I mean, I sent Chris because I knew he would love the Josh Allen stuff. There's Kyler Murray, some Kyler Murray stuff. I'm trying to remember, I think the Tebow jersey picture that I sent y'all is in there because of that playoff game that he won. In that, it was like a wild playoff game he won in overtime or something. And I think that's the jersey from that game or something, if I remember right. It's just wild, man. Seeing all those greats, and they have all the Super Bowl rings from every Super Bowl lined up through there. They started it like back in the day, they were half a carat. Today, this last one was 20 carats. 20 carats. The thing's like that big. Jeez. And the top screw off of them. And you open them up, and inside the ring is the stadium where the game was played. And inside that, on the lid, is they take pieces of the actual game ball and put it inside the ring.
Oh, you didn't send a picture of that? That sounds cool.
Well, you can't open them. They won't. The guides were telling you about it, and it says it on the card. He explains it to you, but they won't let you. They're in a case. They won't let you open them. So
figured they'd have one on display.
No, I got to put on an actual Hall of Fame ring. It was a replica of Charles Woodson's ring. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate, I want to read a scripture to you guys. Luke 5:32 says, I did not come to call the self-righteous who see no need to repent, but sinners to repentance, to change their old ways of thinking, to turn from sin, and to seek God and his righteousness. Mike, that goes right along with that quote you were talking about church being a hospital for the sinners.
Yeah, don't you just love that? I think that if we could get that message out more, I think it would be helpful, because I have friends who are, they're Christians, they believe in Jesus, but man, when you mention church, the first thing out of their mouth is, that they're all hypocrites, and that's. At one point in my life, I had that same kind of a hostile opinion. But if we could just, kind of get that thought out there, that just says it all in one. It changes that typical mindset that church is full of hypocrites. And if we could just get that out more, that I'll just love that. It's a hospital for sinners, and we got to go every week. Maybe if we could get that perspective change, we could get a couple of the hard edge guys that are good people, but maybe just get them to kind of change their view on church, where instead of coming in hostile and feeling like, oh, that person thinks they're better than me, and who are they? I saw them cuss last week, and that guy's a hypocrite. If you kind of go in there with that different mindset, it completely changes your church experience.
I think you need to change your mindset to Jesus. Man will fail you every time. If your focus is on the pastor, maybe the pastor is good, whatever. If your focus is on the people of the church, you see it all the time. People that get church hurt, quote unquote. It's because they're putting so much into the people. And if a pastor falls, are they going to still come to church because your favorite pastor fell? Absolutely, because I'm not coming for the pastor. I'm not coming for anybody in the church. I'm coming for Jesus and my relationship with him. And when we change our mindset to that, I think we lose that mentality that you're talking about, Mike.
I'm going through a new members class to join the church. And at first I was kind of like, why is there a new members class? And that's one of the things we're learning is, I think back to my younger self being in church and getting church hurt, being offended, being judgmental, just letting the preacher get on your nerves because he's arrogant. He doesn't have the humble attitude and all that stuff that happens. And then I realize in this class, they pretty much say what you said, Chris, and also to not be a divisive member and to be focused on Jesus, not the man. And I never thought of this either. Something neat that they're teaching is to pray for your pastor and the staff. And it never occurred to me. But then they talk about, pray for them to be able to deliver, the message, to make good moral decisions, to be able to, all the obvious stuff that you would pray for your preacher. I never thought of that before. And I thought, that's actually a pretty good idea. Just some new stuff I've learned. I never even crossed my mind to pray for the preacher. I know that maybe y'all may have been doing that a long time, but that's new information for me.
Yeah, that is a great idea. Praying for your preacher or your pastor, and maybe your pastor or your church's ministry team or whatever. That's a great idea. Man, I can't imagine being a pastor, of a church and having to handle all the things that go with that. So yeah, heck yeah, pray for them. But Chris, you talk about church hurt and the reasons people don't go to church, and thinking that everybody who goes to church are hypocrites and they're judgmental or whatever. I think that's what the devil does. He uses all that. Plus, you're being convicted of what's going on with you. You need to be in church. We all do. I always knew it. But again, you use all those things we just talked about to not go, and I think that's the devil working on you. Because man, church, everybody at church is broken. All of us, every single one of us in that building are broken, and we need Jesus. And so you've got to find a way to make it strictly about you and Jesus and not everybody else. And that's difficult. That's really tough, especially with younger. I think with the younger, I know like my daughter, she's going through some stuff with church and how she feels about the church and things like that. And that's tough on them. But yeah, you got to get your butt back in church. You got to be there. You need to be there. So if you don't like church A, go to church B, then C, then D, then E, wherever, until you find where you feel at home.
It's so easy for us as humans to put a pastor on a pedestal or somebody that's in leadership at the church. And my pastor says all the time, he said, I'm just a man just like you guys. He said, I have faults and failures. And when we can get that in our brain that they are just like us and they are going to fail, and again, keep your eyes focused on Jesus and don't rely on your pastor 100% to feed you every week. If you go in there already having read your Bible, you've already prayed some, you're not fully relying on them to get your bread for the whole week. It can't sustain you for a whole week anyway, but you have to work on your relationship with Jesus on your own and not rely on them solely. And I think that helps you take your eyes off of them, because you're like, oh, he failed, and he was like, you have no relationship with Jesus outside of your pastor feeding you. And if they fall or something happens, you don't know what to do and you run because you don't have that relationship with Jesus that you built on your own.
Well, they also talk about in this class being unselfish and forgetting self, which is always great. But as a young man, when I would go into church, I thought church was to serve me. They're to deliver me a good message. What can the church do for me? And again, I've learned this through the years, but the class just reemphasized it, that actually we're there to serve the church. And I'm figuring out where I fit into the church and where I can serve that fits. I mean, obviously they're going to pull me into the security stuff, but I'm not the guy that you want at the front door greeting people unless you want to turn people away. So, you got to fit your roles, how you fit into the church. And
Mike, that's very true, man. Very true. I went to the same class at my church. Not the fact that you're not the greet. Well, that's true too. You're not. Well, pause 2 seconds. You are not a greeter.
No,
I've seen you greet people.
No.
If you know what I'm talking about, I've seen you greet people.
No.
And so that's not for you, sir.
No.
Yeah, carry on with something else. But yeah, I went. You mentioned that class that you're going through. Man, it did wonders for me at my church, going through what we call it Connect class, where it lays everything out in front of you about who we are, what we stand for, what our pillars are, where you can get connected in the church. And that right there solves a lot of the issues that we're talking about. If you can get connected within your church and serve the church. I happen to be a good greeter.
You are. You're a phenomenal greeter. That's your strength, man.
Yeah. So me and Casey, we got involved in that and really threw ourselves into it. But to try to set that tone for somebody as they come to church, to help open that door to where they can have that moment with Jesus, where they feel comfortable about being at church. We're the first person they see, and so we threw ourselves into that role and just prayed about it. And now we're going to be leading a team of greeters every fourth Sunday. That's going to be cool. But yeah, once you don't just go to church, serve the church, get involved, be part of the church, and I think it will solve a lot of the things, the hesitancies or doubts about the church if you can get involved in the church.
Isn't it crazy, again, how this whole thing comes back to being unselfish? It's just mind-blowing. You're unselfish with your family. You're unselfish in the church. And I am a huge advocate for getting involved in the church in some form or fashion. Take out the trash, whatever you got to do, because it holds you accountable, for one, to go to church, and it holds you accountable, and it makes you become selfless. I go to a smaller church than both of you, and, I've seen my pastor plunging toilets and taking out the trash, because he has to, and it'd be nice to see somebody step up and do that. And people do, but, and we don't always see the behind the scenes look of a pastor and the gazillion phone calls they get in a day and all that stuff, so it's grueling, and they definitely need our prayers 100%.
One last thing on it. And it's funny too, that you realize that the true key to happiness is actually serving others. It is so counterintuitive to your selfish nature that when you actually serve others, you get like they always say, you go help somebody. Well, you're the one who ends up being blessed, because just it's such a great feeling, and being unselfish. You end up being the one who gets blessed. So just awesome. What's next?
Sorry, I was muted. What did Jesus say? He said, the first will be last and the last will be first. You have to serve to be, what's the word I'm looking for? A leader in the kingdom, I guess.
Hey,
Eric, I think you were muted to do all that.
That's Mark 10. Wasn't that Mark 10?
I don't know. I'm looking it up.
I think I remember the verse. I think I know.
Oh my! I don't believe it. We need to check that.
Mark 10.
Cheated. You Googled.
I think it's like Mark. It's somewhere in Mark. I'm gonna try and get this address right. Mark 10 or 11, somewhere in there.
I need a verse.
If you Googled it, that's cheating.
I'm not touching the thing. Look here. I don't have my AI is turned off, or is it?
Mark 10 is divorce and stuff.
No, it's like if you're going to serve. I'm gonna look it up now. Hold on. So I want to say that I know something.
While you're researching, and I didn't put this on the pre-topic, it just popped into my head, and since we're kind of freewheeling it today anyway, it got me thinking about when we said true happiness. It triggered in my head that this week, one of my sons, like his third tier friend group at Washita, that one of his dads took his life. And now I got to thinking that is now 3 friends of Jake's, with 2 being very close, where the father has taken his life. And I think that is so odd, because did y'all know anyone growing up where a dad took their life?
No.
Did y'all know anybody?
Mm-mm.
No, I didn't.
No. Not that I can remember anyway.
That is, kind of an indicator of the society's health. And it just got me coming back to, it's like, are these guys trying to make it on their own, without any higher help, and then they just crush under that weight, or what? But it kind of brought me back to that unselfish attitude. You just can't imagine a guy doing that's going to church and serving other people. Not that going to church would ultimately matter, but serving other people, being unselfish, because you're going to get that deep internal joy that is not present when you're being selfish and you're trying to make it through life. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I found that to be just bizarre. He shouldn't know one person, and this makes number 3. And every time I have to talk with Jake, I'm like, Jake, this is not normal, and that is not how you solve a problem. This is not normal, so don't ever get used to it. And we go into all the deep combos about it, but yeah, that's just odd. Just kind of popped in my head there, went off script.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I think it's probably more common now than than it obviously should be. But yeah.
So did you find that scripture?
But it's not the same one you were talking about. I was close, and it is in Mark 10. Let's go. Mark 10. I remember. That's it. That's the address, sir. That's the address.
It is the same one I said about you shall be first, be a slave. And anyway, read it.
Well, yeah. There's more to it. I got it. You want me to read it, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So it says, you know that the rulers in this world lord it over their people, and officials flaunt their authority over those under them. But among you, it will be different. Whoever wants to be a leader among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first among you must be the slave of everyone else. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and to give his life as a ransom for many.
That's tough, boys. Tough.
Let's go. That's it, boys, right there. Yeah, that's it.
The first time, so we've been going to all these rodeos and stuff with work, and they eat afterwards. And the first time I went, I'm new to this job, and I jump in line, and all of my peers and my boss and stuff, they're sitting down and they're like looking at me and shaking my head. I'm like, what? I come to find out later that my boss says that good leaders eat last. So every time now when we go to these events, my whole safety team wait till the very end after the whole district has gotten in line, and we get our food.
That's good stuff.
Good point. I like it.
But that's right along with that scripture, and it's hard to do sometimes. It really is.
Yeah.
No question.
Totally get that.
It's hard to put yourself last. It doesn't come natural. It's not a natural thing that happens. Real quick, Mike, you want to touch on the Arkansas budget surplus?
Yeah, just because that's kind of boring stuff, but I wanted to bring it up because I think folks who have lived in Arkansas their whole life sometimes don't fully appreciate what a wonderful state this is, from its beautiful views to the way it's governed and managed, the way they take care of special needs people. I came from Texas, and they do a lot of things right down there. I think Arkansas does it better in a lot of areas. But you look at like California that's bankrupt. There's so many states that are bankrupt. Look at our government, the U.S. government that's spending themselves into oblivion, have no way to pay for their debts. I think I read last week with the high interest rates there, I don't have the specific number, but their interest payments on the debt alone are, I think, more than our military budget. Anyway, it's that bad. So Arkansas, they had forecast a $240 million surplus, extra money laying around. Well, then they updated the forecast, and it's up to $768 million. So from 240 to 768. And that's pretty amazing. That's outstanding governance.
It's amazing.
That means we can
pay for our roads. That means they have a huge, what they call a rainy day fund, for some big disaster. It means
give state employees raises,
Yes, state employees. You can pay for new state troopers. The government just works better, in that when you have a budget surplus. And then Sarah Huckabee lowered the tax rate. I think the current rate is 3.7. It was 3.9. And I think when they meet again, because of the surplus, they're going to try to ease it down. And her ultimate goal is to make us like Texas, where there's no state income tax. Because that did kind of hurt whenever I moved here, that, you're paying federal taxes. Now you're getting a chunk out of your check for state. So that did hurt a little bit, but it makes up for it in other places because the property taxes here, just on that same subject, my house in Katy, we paid $13,000 a year in property taxes. I think the average property tax paid in Pope County might be $1,000. That might be a little high, but it's $1,000 a year. So Texas, while they don't have a state income tax, but you end up paying so much in property taxes that the benefit really kind of gets canceled out. But that's pretty cool. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
I'm curious, Mike, and I'm not trying to make this a left versus right thing, but why do you think? I think I read or hear occasionally similar stories across a lot of red states. A lot of the Ohio's, the Floridas. Why is it, or why do you think it is? Is it just simply leadership and reckless spending that states like California, with economies that are bigger than half the world, can't get things right, whereas Arkansas seems to, we get it right? Why is that?
That's because, so it's always, look at human beings, because government mirrors humans, because that's what they are. It's a bunch of human beings. So think about people and you have friends who manage their money. They don't live in debt. And then you may have other friends that are literally swimming in it. They have every new thing known to man, and they're making nonstop payments, and they're buried. If they were to get sick or become disabled, and suddenly, their income is reduced by half while they're on disability, they literally could not make the payment. And that's just the philosophy. Conservatives tend to be conservative and manage their money well, and the liberals don't. In the world that we live in, most people, honestly, whether they're liberal or conservative, tend to live in debt, and everything is based upon a payment. Can I afford the payment? Not how much is it costing me? And I think it just kind of is a reflection of society, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion.
I heard, I think it was just the other day, someone called out the governor of California they're in some like record breaking deficit.
They're about to go broke.
Yeah. And they asked him why because they had like some huge surplus, I think, before he got there. I'm not trying to say I know all the backstory here, and I may be saying this wrong, and if I am, oh well. But they asked him about it. Somebody actually asked him the question, and he said in his answer that, I'm paraphrasing here, that the reason they're broke is climate change.
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
That was his answer, dude. That's what he said. He's like, those big rainstorms they got, that the what they call them, the atmospheric river or whatever.
It's very normal.
Yeah, yes. That it's climate change that has caused them to have this deficit.
Yes, so. And you see that. I read the Arkansas paper daily, and I'm pretty up to date on news. And now you're seeing people inserting as fact that climate change is the reason that this happens. I've even heard that they've tried to make the border crisis into a climate change, and it's just It's just a complete lie. I mean, all you got to do, just, when stuff like this happens, put it up against your common sense test. Like give you an example. A few weeks ago, Oklahoma was supposed to have a historic outbreak of tornadoes. Again, the supercomputer models were spinning up and predicting it, and yet Mother Nature let one tornado happen that was of any significance. And you see Mother Nature always, doing stuff like that. I mean, it's not predictable. So I don't know, that stuff blows my mind. It's all propaganda. And then I just had this pop into my head. Did y'all see the New York City mayor make the comment? This stuff should be on a comedy skit. He said that they should use immigrants to fill the lifeguard population, or they need lifeguards, so that they don't have enough because they're good swimmers.
Yes.
Are you
I
kidding
absolutely
me?
did.
He said it with a straight face. I couldn't. I was like, I've never heard a broader generalization of people in my life. And that this guy, you realize that the mayor has a budget that is bigger than many countries in the world, because New York is so big. What an idiot. Just incredible. Did you see that, Chris?
Yeah. I did. It just blows my mind. You can't make this stuff up, dude. Like,
no, it's like a Beavis and Butthead video.
Wasn't it? Was it Pelosi or was it Cackle Kamala that said something about that we need them? We need all these. Maybe in Schumer, we got to have all these illegals, because if we don't, who's going to pick your crops?
I'm like, dude, that's awful. Say that.
Was that Schumer?
I think so.
They can say that crap and get off scot-free.
Yep.
But if somebody said that from the right, they would be hanging them. They would be a racist. They would be ripping them down, dude.
Be canceled.
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
They think we're idiots.
They really are, man.
They think we are.
Dude, I swear I'm turning into a libertarian. I swear I am. I'm more and more every day. I feel like every one of them on both sides up there are just worthless. And it's turning into like a reality show. Like it's who can say the most outlandish thing. And I'm talking about both sides. Now, I'll take your girl, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And AOC, there's a clip out today of AOC, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and some girl from Texas, Mike. I can't remember her name.
I saw her, the representative.
And the three of them are in a committee meeting. You got to see this clip, Chris. You'll love it. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. But I'm like, this is where we're at. It's just the three of them having a cat fight and talking trash. Like
talking trash.
AOC goes full, don't you? No, you didn't. You know, and Marjorie Taylor Greene's making fun of the girl's fake lashes.
Yes, and then one girl, the other one makes fun of the build of Green, saying she's built real stocky and stuff. And listen, if this were on the Bill Maher show, it might be funny. But looking up and seeing, as I read about the history of this country, and I read, the discussions they're having, and with Thomas Jefferson, and they're fighting over how they're going to move forward with the government, and I look up there and see that it is so embarrassing. That is that's our people that's representing us. It's just
absolutely
it's embarrassing, man.
And none of them. And I even, if I'm going to rank them, I like Marjorie better than do the others, but still, even her, none of them know what they're talking about.
Mm-mm.
None of them. Like AOC and that girl from Texas have literally zero clue about any of these topics that are being discussed. I think Marjorie told her, she said, "You're not intelligent enough." Just what she told. She told AOC that. But it's sad. And the committee member, the host, or the chairman of the committee, he can't do anything about it. It's just a screaming match, and he can't get it under control.
No, it was like in school. It was like
Yeah.
two ninth graders having an argument, and the principal's trying to get them back in order. It was
Very well said, Mike. That's
embarrassing, man.
It really
Moving
is.
on to
Anyway.
our main topic here. After that
Hey,
little
wait,
rabbit
don't
trail.
forget-
Hold on. Wait a minute. Mike's got to take us somewhere.
I know you're a Morrilton Devil Dog, which is why you were going to forget Picklefest.
Let's
Okay.
go, Picklefest.
Listen,
For
Have y'all
speaking
been-
about somebody that's never been, you can't even say that.
well, I have lived somewhere else.
You
I'm
grew up
going to
here,
go to
though.
Picklefest. Huh?
You grew up here and you
Not
never
when it
been.
was going on, I don't think.
Yeah, dude, it's gone on our whole lives, Mike.
Yes. That is
I was competing-
accurate.
So you have no room to talk, sir.
I don't.
Dude,
You're correct.
I competed in the
born
pickle
here
juice
and I've been
drinking
here more
contest.
than you.
Yes, you have.
Tell us about it, Mike. Talk to us about
No,
Picklefest.
I'm just excited about it. I haven't been there. It's a unique thing to do. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I always love small town festivals. Matter of fact, I think there's one coming up on Magazine or Nebo, like a butterfly festival or something like that. That'd be
cool.
pretty cool to go to. But there's going to be a car show, I think, there as well. I despise pickles, maybe because I worked at the pickle plant. My police buddies love to make fun of that, and they got a kick out of me working at a pickle plant. But I'm looking forward to it. I love the small town stuff. And back when we were younger, didn't your sisters sing at that at some point?
Yes, dude. I mean, first of all, you're spot on with the small town festival thing, man. I have so many fond memories of Picklefest and the community coming together. Everybody there, and then people from the surrounding communities would come. Dude, I participated in the pickle eating contest.
What?
Yeah, they give you a big old tray with 1.5 pounds of hot dill pickles, and then 1.5 pounds. Okay, and they say go for it. And dude, I finished second. You know who beat me? I was like 8 years old, 9 years old, maybe 10. Who knows how old? But Leslie Kirsten. Leslie Kirsten won.
That's awesome, dude.
Dude, and my
That is
family,
great.
when we left Picklefest and went to up Nebo to do something with my dad and my mom, and I got sick on the way up Nebo from all the pickles. Yeah, and dude, I have also performed live on the stage at Picklefest, baby. The band I was in, we played Picklefest.
Playing the drums?
Yep.
No, that's cool, man.
Yep. Carrie and Crystal both performed there.
I played live on Picklefest as well.
Chris did. Yep.
Brookie's going to perform tomorrow at noon. Let's go.
I'll be
Hey,
there.
Hey, I need a
band.
heads up, bro. We need more than a 1 day heads up on that. I mean, you have failed. You need headquarters should have told you to send me a text. So
12
noon
o'clock,
tomorrow.
sir. Yeah.
Yes.
All
Her
right.
little
We'll be there.
fine arts group, it's her and some of the boys from our class. One guy plays the guitar. She was going to play the piano, but since her arm, no piano for her. She's going to sing. I think they got like a little 30-minute slot or something. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's gonna be great, dude. I love it.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to make it, Eric?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there. I think the wife has to work, but me and the kids will be there. Let Geraldine go down and soak up all the kids stuff. So
My favorite part of Picklefest is all the quote unquote fair food, the funnel cakes.
Yeah,
and
baby.
the fresh squeezed lemonade and the fried pickles. Oh, yeah. The fried pickles are fire, boy. And I don't even like pickles.
Chris, will Cunningham's be set up down there tomorrow?
Usually, no. They usually have another barbecue place, some guys, and it is fire. It's good.
So, and then tonight, Eric, I will be at the huge game between Geraldine and Waylon. It's
Let's
going
go.
down. That's what Monica
That's
said.
right.
They're playing each other tonight. So
That's right.
we're gonna get in some good t-ball. They do a few pitching, a little bit of
That's right.
pitching too, but I'll
Dude,
be
they're
there for the
almost-
big game.
There almost wasn't a game, and it was crazy. Apparently, some team we were supposed to play we're all required to work the concession stand one night. Every
Right.
team is, and this other team didn't meet their requirement, so they forfeited the game, and we weren't going to be able.
No.
So our little kids weren't going to be able to play. Well, apparently, when they sent that notice out, somebody, I guess the coach of this team we're going to play tonight, saw that and said, "Hey, we'll play them."
That's awesome.
That's awesome. I said, whoever that was really cool.
So
because our little ones weren't going to get to play.
And we'll do that. And two, if that ever happens, Eric, have the parents play them. That's the best. The kids get a big kick
Great
out of
idea.
it. Like if there's no team that shows up, because we've done that with the special needs kids. Because a lot of times the junior high will come play, and if some schedule happens, sometimes I've had to play a basketball game against them, and that's hilarious. Watching
that would be fun.
Down the court, man. So
Awesome, dude.
but yeah, so Picklefest.
We got to work.
Can't
we
wait.
got to work this afternoon. We got to work tonight. 2 booths, cheerleading, and beta club. Let's go. We'll be there all
Serving
get
the
it.
community, baby.
That's right.
trying to raise
Love
money
it.
for all these school activities. Hey, chili don't break you, man.
Man, that's
yeah.
legit.
Like
That's
$900
legit, man.
man.
Hey, but
That's
you got us.
Crazy.
You got us to lean on for these fundraisers. We'll buy whatever it is she's selling, sir.
Hey,
That look, you can't
was
go wrong
going
with a
through,
Ruger 22.
Yeah.
hey, we Venmo'd the money, so I
Same here.
expect to get insider trading information, and for some reason my name gets pulled out and I win the Ruger.
You need to make sure he puts your name on the tickets and not his.
Brooklyn filled out the tickets, and she asked, "What's Mike's number?" So I gave her your number. You're on there.
Okay, I
No
trust
worries.
Brooklyn.
Trust Brookie.
Hey,
Yeah.
I was going through old pictures, another sidebar. You know, Geraldine's so cute, a little bit, just an adorable girl. And it reminds me of Gracie when she was younger. And I just happened to stumble upon this little pic here, and it just melts me into a pile of
Look
mush.
at
That
her.
little sweet girl.
Look at her.
Just so when I see Geraldine out there playing and stuff, it takes me back to when Gracie was like that. And
How old was she there?
awesome. I'm bad about stuff like that. I don't know, man. Under 5?
It was about 4 or 5.
You don't know the age of the kids unless your kids are that age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I remember pictures of
5.
Abby Grace with my fire helmet on. And she'd put her feet in my boots, and try to walk around the station. Dude, I got so many pictures, and those will just,
When you're in the moment with them, you know it's cute, but then, years later you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, which is why I guess we're primed for grandpa. I'm primed to move into grandpa age because I don't have to worry about raising them. I just get to have fun with them and send them back home spoiled rotten, so.
yep.
Carrie
Anyway, what
had
are we
taken
heading
a
into
picture.
there?
Nothing. We're not going to go into that. We'll save it for next time. Carrie took a picture of Brooklyn like the first day of school this year and then the last day today. And just the sheer difference, how much different she looks from the years, just how much older she looks and everything. I'm like, it's crazy. Happens so fast.
It flies, man.
Yeah. I see
It
pictures
really
of
is.
Abby Grace now, like, and her sorority stuff, and she looks so grown up, and it just freaks me out, dude. I mean, she's, and the conversations we have now on the phone about stuff, I'm just like, she's my little girl. That's not what I'm saying. She's not my little girl anymore.
Right.
Well,
that's where I get blessed. I'm lucky because while Gracie is 21, she's still kind of like a little girl. So I get to enjoy her, sweetness and her little cute self doing the things that she does. I mean, we'll hunt Easter eggs with her forever. You know, we'll Santa Claus is real to her forever. So I get a nice awesome, benefit there because it's sweet. Matter of fact, it's hilarious. I think it was at Star. No, it was when we were in Katy. Another parent. So Gracie was talking with her friend, and her friend, because they all have different levels of what they think and stuff. And one of her friends said Santa wasn't real, and then her dad said, "Yeah, Santa's not real." And Gracie gave him the riot act, man. She was like, "Oh, you people crazy. You're full of it. Go ask my dad." I mean, it was.
I love that.
Awesome. It was awesome, man.
Everything Gracie does, it just oozes cuteness, man, and sweetness, and just genuine, just love.
She will never lose her innocence, man.
Yep, you cannot be around her and not feel love. That's just, I love that.
Well, I think Sunday I have a little bit of anxiety. I'm about 99% sure that when she's baptized, it will go off without a hitch. But I also know that sometimes at the last second, she'll say, "No, I'm not doing it," or "Yes," or "No, yes." She'll go back and forth. And I'm a little worried about that. But I think it's going to go off well, and pray about it and everything else. I think it'll go
absolutely
great. But in the back of my mind, I worry about it a little bit because, we'll be up there in front of the church if she kind of spazzes at the last second. But
dude, she'll do just fine.
If she does, if she spazzes, everybody can just deal with it.
That's right. There you go, brother. There you go.
I guess it's been
watching her play ball was go ahead. Yeah.
I would say it's been a while ago, but we touched on Mike getting baptized, and that is coming. By the time this comes out, he already will be baptized, but that comes through fruition.
That's right, baby.
This Sunday. Super excited, super proud of you, man.
It's a big thing.
Old Mike is going to officially die. He stays in the water. A new Mike comes out.
I'm going to get that dirt off of me, man.
Let's go, baby. Oh, I like that, dude. I like that.
All that self-condemnation, all that yuck and muck from your life is gone, dude.
Man, if I had not moved home, I don't know that I would have gotten baptized. It didn't feel right everywhere I was at.
God's plan, sir.
And now that I'm home, it feels 1,000% right. So looking forward to it. And again, I'm not a hypocrite. That's what I tell myself all the time. If I get baptized on Sunday and Sunday night, I let a cuss word out, I'm not a bad person. I'm always working on it. I'm trying to reduce cursing, but when you've been in the military and police work forever, yes, that's an excuse, and excuses are unacceptable. It's hard to tame the old tongue. I try my best, though.
Dude, you're a great guy, Mike. We joke a lot, and we goof around, and we act like 12-year-olds, but you're an amazing dude. You have so much to do. Listen, I'm serious. You have so much to offer. You love, whether you outwardly show it or not, you love people. You're always giving, dude. Yeah, you're an amazing guy. God's got you. Anyway,
and now you see why I didn't have a retirement ceremony. I can't stand people when people say good things about me or whatever. I'm just like, I'm out. I just want to run away. So,
Mike, you're a terrible human being. You're so selfish.
You're awful, dude.
Awful.
You're terrible. Yeah, I can't stand you.
I'll tell you something funny. One last story. When I retired, I've always told you I believe in quiet service. Well, a lot of these end up when you retire. And if you have a retirement ceremony, wherever you're at, I'm not hating on you because everybody's different. But at RPD, it's this me, look at me, and all this stuff. And most people attending don't want to be there. They were told to go there so that there's an audience, And so there was a hair on my. I'm not losing my mind. There was a hair hanging off.
What are you doing?
Like, and they served this, this cake. It's kind of generic cake. And then they served this generic punch. And so I basically said, hey, they're like, do you want a cake? I'm like, no, y'all can keep your Walmart special cake. I told that to one of my buddies. Well, they got to the chief, and he was like, so I heard that you don't like our Walmart cake. And I said, you weren't supposed to hear that. I was just making a joke. And he goes, for your information, those cakes come from HEB. And I said, look, Walmart cakes are actually pretty good. I was just joking. So it was pretty funny. I was like, no, I don't want your Walmart special cake, man. It's good stuff.
Oh, dude. Hey, I got to ask. I know we're probably getting ready to wrap this up, and this is a little bit off topic, but I got to ask. What'd you think about the game last night?
Oh, no. Let's hear your thoughts there. What,
dude, that is why we love and hate this game at the same time. If you did not simultaneously last night just have the time of your life and want to jump off a cliff at the same something is wrong with you.
Isn't that just Arkansas sports in general, though, right?
Well, that of course, yeah. But baseball, Chris, talk to me. Is that not baseball at its best, dude?
It's baseball, but I wanted to jump off a cliff when we couldn't knock runners in scoring position.
Yeah. And me and Chris talked about it earlier today. He's right. He's absolutely right. We did not hit runners in scoring position last night. But how many times did we almost do it and something weird, wild play took it away from us? Like the play at the wall last night with Hudson White, or we win that ball game.
This is what we're going to be saying after the championship. Oh, man, we were so close. It just almost went our way, but it didn't.
Well,
I'm just saying, that's, you know what I'm saying?
That's baseball.
Go, Chris.
That's baseball, though. Every team, unless it's very rare that some team wins the championship 9-2. Very rare, like extremely rare. So this team, if you take the whole body of work, not last night, not individual performances throughout the year, on average, this team, I don't know what our average runs a game are, but this team will get you 4 to 5 runs every game on average, if you take the averages, okay? That right there with this pitching staff is good enough to win the whole thing, okay? That's what I'm saying. Yes.
No, there's no question. And last night, I thoroughly enjoyed the pitching match. It was really good. And look, that guy that pitched for A&M, I guess they showed last night, he's due to be drafted right after Hagen Smith. That's how
straight
good
up
he is.
Stud. Yep, straight up stud. Yep.
And while I don't like losing on a walk, our pitchers don't give in, and he wasn't going to give in.
No.
And so he walked it home, and I think I'd almost rather lose on a walk than him to hit in 3 runs and us go down 3-0. But
I agree. And Chris, it was amazing. And it drove me bonkers. But Chris made a point earlier, Stovall he struck out. First of all, he was facing a stud. Second of all, how often does Stovall not come through for us? It was just one of those weird. It's a weird situation, and that's
we're going to be facing nothing but studs moving forward in the tournament.
That's what I'm saying. Buckle up your seatbelt. Buckle up your seatbelt, because this is going to be the game that Arkansas plays from here on out. Okay, but the good news there is our pitching is way better than everybody else's as a whole, staff-wise. And there's not always going to be guys robbing plays at the wall every time. We're going to score enough to be there. And once you're there, all bets are off. Once you get to Omaha, everything gets thrown out the window. And once
you got to have some luck, though. When you get there, you got to have some luck. You got to have some things go our way.
Yes. And that's why I was talking about last night, I keep going back to Hudson White's We hit several times last night. We hit balls hard, dude. Just at people. Yeah, there were some bad at bats, but just like things didn't go our way last night, they will go our way some nights. But if you take the whole body of work, we score enough to win the whole thing with this most elite pitching staff in the entire country.
What did y'all think? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, one more thing. This team's going to be playing at Baum Walker for the regionals and super regionals. Fellas, we've lost, 3 games all season at home? And this pitching staff, teams aren't going to be there's no team out there that's going to come rolling into Fayetteville with as deep of a pitching staff as us. I'll take us to go to Omaha all day.
We got to hit the ball,
If we get swept, do we still get a top 8 seed?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So we're good for regionals and supers.
Yep.
For me,
We gotta hit the ball,
I think
though.
y'all probably we got to win one game. Like Kentucky's like number 1 in the country. We won one game there, right?
Yep.
That's success.
That's
And
what
if
you want to
go
do.
A former number 1, and we can take out 1 at their stadium. I'm good because that usually means you win 2 at your stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's why we talked about earlier in the year about every time that you either sweep somebody at home or on the road, either one. Anytime you sweep somebody or you win a series on the road, you put money in the bank. And Arkansas has done that so much this year that we got so much money in the bank right now. We can get swept this weekend. We can go to Birmingham next week and not win a game there. Who cares? It doesn't matter. We're hosting. We're a top 8 seed. And Chris, you're right. We have to hit the ball. I agree with that. But with this pitching staff, the way we hit it is good enough to win the national championship. 4 or 5 runs a game. If you can do that, you're going to win it all. Or be right there to win it all, and hopefully you get a lucky break or 2 along the way.
Against SEC opponents, we're batting 195 with runners in scoring position.
And they're 42-10.
fair counterpoint, sir.
Yeah, they're 42-10, batting 195 with runners in scoring position against one of the toughest schedules in the entire country.
I mean, yeah, the ranked opponents we played is ridiculous.
They find ways to whatever that is. On most nights, they didn't last night, but most nights they find ways to win.
It just seems like our hitting is not getting better at all. For sure.
Actually, if you look over the last 2 weekends, we've been gorilla balling it all over the field. I mean, Mississippi State, Florida.
On our Sunday guy, we did a little bit.
Yeah, we were mashing, dude. Yeah. I think we almost came back on the Saturday against Mississippi State. We scored 6?
Almost.
We scored. Yeah, we scored 6. I'm just saying. I'm just saying we're hitting the ball. You can't look at small sample sizes. You have to go big picture. They're 42-10 hitting with 195 with runners in scoring position. That's how freaking elite the staff is.
We need a sunshine emoji on Eric's picture over there.
Where?
I agree with you, man. But I'm just battling you a little bit because I love.
I agree. Hey, I'm glad you. I like. You're right. He's absolutely right, though. If we had if we had Florida's pitching staff, good pitching staff, right? Pretty good, right? If we had their pitching staff and we're hitting 195 with runners in scoring position, but we're still finding ways to win ball games, I'd be worried because hitting 195 with runners in scoring position in the postseason is not going to get it done. But we don't have Florida's pitching staff. We have the most elite pitching staff, top to bottom. There's like 15 of them, it seems like, that you can bring in any situation. If you do happen to have one of those nights like last night and you do go into the loser's bracket, nobody else is going to be able to throw out arms like we can. And this team
did y'all watch his presser? Did y'all watch his presser last night?
Yeah, I did. I liked it.
What did he say? I got to watch it.
He was like, he said, what an incredible game. He wasn't down. He wasn't upset. He said, he's very happy with the pitching staff last night. Everybody responded. He wasn't down on Mac at all. I think he said something along the lines of it, like you did. He wasn't going to give in. He talked about how, we just didn't get the big hit last night. He said we hit it plenty hard. And he said, look at that play at the wall. He said that would have put us in front right there. He wasn't mad.
Did he mention, like he does sometimes, I thought the strike zone was ridiculously high for A&M last night. It was insane.
It was, wasn't it? No, he didn't say anything about that.
Pitches in right up here at the elbow, and they call them strikes, man. I was like, this guy.
Yeah. Hey,
I thought it got a little better as the game went on.
It did.
At first it was bad, but it got better.
It did. We got to talk a minute about what we're witnessing. I still do not think people understand how incredible Hagen Smith is and how much money that dude's fixing to make. Dude, I've never seen a pitcher like that at Arkansas. Unreal.
He's legit.
He destroyed probably the best lineup in the country. He destroyed them.
Yeah.
Last night.
Isn't it neat to just have a horse that, like, instead of when he goes out there, you're not nervous. It's going to happen. And isn't it also amazing when you see how easy a good pitcher makes it look? And then you'll have another pitcher come in, all of a sudden they can't even throw a strike, and it's just hard. It's like they cannot pitch to save their life. And yet then you see a guy like him, and it's just like a machine. Just nothing to it.
Even when Hagen's not at his best, he's better than most.
Yeah. He's got what, 3? Now he's got 4 because that changeup was working last night. He's got 3 plus pitches, and then he had that changeup in there on top of that.
He was pumping that high fastball in there at 100 and then dropping that slider.
Yes.
Dude, they can't touch it. You can't touch it.
Still hitting 96 in the 6th inning.
Yeah, his heat blast. And from the left side, left-handers are supposed to throw 89 miles an hour.
Yep. Dude, I was telling Chris this morning, the perfect example, look at Jordan Montgomery? That's his name? The guy for A&M. They've got studs who hitting gazillion home runs, but their guy, he's like the best run producer in the whole conference. Came from Stanford. Dude was recruited by everybody, including us, in the transfer portal. Hagen struck him out twice last night. Twice.
Yeah.
And then Faraday got him in the 9th or 10th or whatever it was. Faraday got him. Dude, this pitching staff, fellas.
It was fun. It was like a parade. Yep. He just kept putting out pitchers, and they'd come in and shut them down. Put them in, shut them down.
Mike, you did good last night. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, you did. That's what I was getting ready to talk about too. So, yeah, keep your fun meter up today and tomorrow because it could go bad. We're not starting Taggart. Taggart is with the team this weekend, but he's not even on the roster, so he's not pitching at all this weekend
because he's been sucking.
Well, that's fine, but I think Molina may not pitch this weekend either. So it could go bad. But it doesn't matter. Keep your mind on the big picture.
All right.
Okay? Big picture.
That's fair.
So, an SEC West title doesn't mean a thing.
No.
So,
we got those by the dozen. We need a natty.
Yeah, we got a gazillion of those. I'm ready for a natty. So,
if you don't make to the national championship, like, it's going to be disappointing for sure. I'll say that.
I'll say if you don't make it to Omaha, it'll be disappointing. Getting to the national championship, once you're even just to get to Omaha is unreal hard. But once you get to Omaha, dude, it's so hard to get to the national title series. Then you got to turn around and win that. And if you've lost a game in Omaha anywhere, your pitching's not set up right. And
Ours will be, though. We got the arm, sir.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. But that's why I like our team. But I'm just saying it's so hard to do. You know?
It's the hardest thing in all of sports.
I agree.
100%.
Either that or beating Max Verstappen.
Well,
he got beat. Hey, he got beat. Verstappen. Orlando was running off on him. Let's go.
That was so fun. That was so fun.
They're losing Adrian Newey. When they lose their
engineer?
Car designer, the wizard.
Why?
The Red Bull's about to become Williams. You mark it down. I don't think Red Bull's only success has been when Adrian Newey is there. And I don't know that there's anybody who can see the wind.
Where's he going?
Guy can.
Why is he leaving?
Well, he said he was going to retire, but then he hinted that he maybe not be done with F1. So wherever he goes, they're going to make an incredibly fast car.
I got you.
And by the way, have y'all not even mentioned these incredible NASCAR finishes? Surely y'all saw.
Oh, I saw it, Mike. Holy crap!
Because I ain't watched them.
I did.
Chris.
Wow.
What?
Yeah. The don't be hating on NASCAR. At least there's competition. We had a finish last week or 2 weeks ago, closest finish in NASCAR history. I think it was 0.03 of a second. It was this far on the bumper.
And they slammed into each other twice before they got to the finish line. Trying to wreck each other out, dude. It was insane. You got to see the finish, Chris.
And this last week, same thing, man.
Look at him.
The final 25 laps was awesome. But I don't know. Chris likes to watch Max get out front and lead by 2.5 minutes. And when he wins, he's eating or when he does a pit stop, he eats a sandwich, goes to the restroom, comes back, and he's still got a 30-second lead.
But that didn't happen last time.
It's like once or twice a year, though.
Yeah. Once or twice a year, he won't win. But you're never in F1 going to see a finish crossing like this.
But you're never in NASCAR going to see a F1 car going around corners and taking high-speed corners and coming out
you're
of
right.
them.
That is true. Good counterpoint.
F1 is nothing but Michael Schumacher dominating for 8 or 9 years, and then they designate what's his face that we can't stand with Mercedes.
Rainbow Boy.
Rainbow Boy.
Yeah.
Well, he's been designated. He's going to win for 8 years, and then we're going to have Red Bull dominance. It's just
NASCAR is nothing but rednecks going around a circle.
Oh,
see, that's a stereotype. That's a stereotype there, sir. You might as well be the mayor of New York dropping out dumb stuff like that. Look at that.
Woo! It's getting a little heated. Hey, boys, so let's see. What else can we talk about?
Yeah.
I just can't get into it, man. I just can't do it.
A lot of people can't. You're not alone.
Hey, I'll end it on a cool story. So I got to go watch, I told you guys, I got to go watch some baseball while I was in Ohio. And I just thought it was neat. I put on my Razorback baseball gear, my jersey, my hat, because I'm representing at the ballpark. Beautiful ballpark, downtown Akron. It's a AA affiliate of the Cleveland Indians. I refuse to call them the Guardians. They're the Cleveland Indians. That's the dumbest thing in the world ever.
That's so gay.
Stupid.
First of all, changing the name was stupid. That's so dumb. It's virtue signaling stupidity. Number two, they picked the absolute cheesiest, dumbest, worst name ever.
Guardians.
The Cleveland Guardians. Anyway.
Or the Commanders for Washington. I mean,
again, so dumb. So dumb.
Get
so
out
dumb.
of here.
That's another subject. Anyway. So I went to the ballpark. They're the AA affiliate, like I said. They're called the Akron Rubber Ducks. They're blue and yellow because Goodyear is based in Akron, and that's why they're called the Rubber Ducks. They got a mean duck logo that they most of the time that's what they wear. He's got an angry face with tire tracks coming out behind his. His fact, Goodyear, obviously supports the community so much. And anyway. Got to go to the ballpark, loved it. Sat in the first row behind the dugout. And made my way out to the outfield to like their little pond is what they call it. It's like a little tiki bar looking thing out there. Got to walk around in there. Well, anyway, I went over to the bullpen and leaned over the bullpen, was watching them warm up. Both teams' bullpens are right next to each other. They're elevated. It's pretty cool. And this guy, one of the players, hollers up at me, "Hey, you from Arkansas?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Russellville." He said, "Cool, man. I'm from Benton." There's a kid on the Rubber Ducks playing AA ball from Benton. He went to school at Dallas Baptist. Didn't play for the Hogs, but he gave me a "Go Hogs." That's from the dugout. So, yeah. And I think you mentioned, Mike, how cool is it for him to see somebody from his home state there? So.
Yeah, I know that's the way it was for me. You'd see somebody from Arkansas, you'd be like, hey, how are you? Hey,
yeah.
I'm your
friend.
Come
talk to me. Come talk to me.
I'm sure he felt the same way. He's sitting up there riding crummy buses across the country, getting paid $30,000 a year to play baseball. He'd probably happy to see somebody from Arkansas.
Well,
yeah, isn't it wild too? That the salaries for minor. Now, I know a lot of those guys get huge signing bonuses when they first get drafted, but those salaries, wow! Like single A's, like $23,000.
It was neat whenever I can't remember who it was for Houston. Somebody got called up out of the minor leagues and turned into an absolute star. And he talked about how when he pulled in the parking lot in his piece of crap car, and everybody else is pulling in and they're just exotic cars, all these high-end cars, and he's pulling in his clunker. He would soon go on to get paid, but at that point he wasn't getting paid nothing. Mm-hmm. So he talked about how that was weird to see.
It was. I thought about that a lot. Those kids, a lot of them are kids. Some of them aren't kids. They're a little older, but they're chasing a dream that the odds of achieving it are so slim.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know out of that roster and those kids I saw play there, how many of them will ever make it to the majors, to the big leagues.
Not many. Handful.
Yeah.
That's a wrap, gentlemen. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Remember to keep fighting the good fight, and go Hogs.
Let's get it. Go Hogs.
Thank you for listening to the Life After Sunday podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Please give us a like and a comment, and go follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. And as always, keep fighting the good fight.